Well, hello, everybody. Today is Saturday, June 12th, 2021. You know what? I'm going to put everybody on mute before we get any further because it's being. And, okay. Jim, you're back. Okay, let's start this over again. Hello, everyone. Today is Saturday, June 12th, 2021. Welcome to our Contract Trust Conference call. We are not accountants, tax professionals, lawyers, or currency dealers. We are not engaged in rendering legal, tax, accounting, or other professional advice. Should you require those services, you should retain competent advice from a professional in that field. Thank you for joining us today. We are Indicator Information Institute. Some people have told me I don't tell you the name of our company. That's who we are, Indicator Information. My name is Carol Werelius, and my partner Jim Knox and I have these calls every second and fourth Saturday of the month. These calls are recorded and available on our website, www.indicatorinformation.com, iqdcalls.com, and YouTube. As we get closer and closer to our expected exchange, we thought this would be a good time to review our common law contract trust and why we think it is the best vehicle for you to protect your assets. As always, your questions are welcome. Just star 6 to raise your hand. And I see people are lining up on the queue already, but let's get started. And as you come up with a question, just star 6, and we'll get to you when we're ready for Q&A. So those of us who are engaged in this venture are barraged with calls, so-called intel, opinions gurus, and intel providers on a daily basis. It can be very overwhelming. And while Jim and I try not to discuss the intricacies of the RV or the actual exchange process, we do endeavor to teach you about asset protection. Personally, I don't listen to many of the intel providers out there, but I do get snippets of information from various sources. I recently read where Ray, and I'm pretty sure most of you know who he is, said you need to learn as much as you can about non-statutory complex trusts and private foundations. Well, I don't have much to say about private foundations. I do have a lot to say about non-statutory complex trusts. So let's start off with some definitions. Statutory law means it gets its power and privilege typically from state legislatures. It can be changed as lawmakers see fit. Non-statutory means it does not get right and privilege from state laws. Our trusts are common law, non-statutory contract trusts. That means they get their right and privilege from the U.S. Constitution. They are created under the common law of contracts, and they derive no power, benefit, or privilege from any statute. A complex trust refers to how the trust manages its distributions and its tax. The common law contract trust that we provide will protect your assets from those who wish to take it away from you. There have been questions lately about whether one needs a trust at all. From a practical, thoughtful standpoint, you do need a trust to protect your assets. From a banking perspective, we're told you must have a trust or other entity if you receive more than $1 million, and I think most of us are anticipating more than that. We have been hearing about so-called skeleton trusts. As I understand them, they are statutory, revocable grantor trusts. The real downside to these is that the bank will more than likely become your partner, which I don't think is a good way to go, and I'm sure you do not as well. Our common law trusts are easy to operate, have stood the test of time, and in the courtroom for hundreds of years. We use a simple web-based interface for your application. We have found that this reduces typos, errors, and miscommunication between you and us. So I'm just going to go through the application and just read it to you as pretty much as you will see it on the screen. You are the applicant or applicant, fill in your name and contact information as usual. You need to name the trust. Pick a strong-sounding name that you would like. It must end with the word trust. There are no rules here. People name trust after a pet. They name trust after something they like from the Bible. A lot of people have named trust after the city in which they grew up. I had one guy name a trust after his truck. You can name your trust just about anything, but it should be a strong name. And you do not want to pick a name that you're already associated with. Let's say you already have ABC Dry Cleaning Business. You don't want to have ABC Trucks because ABC would then be associated with you. And again, I think you absolutely do not want to use your surname because what you're looking for here is privacy and anonymity. The trust must be domiciled in a state that does not levy state income tax. We suggest Wyoming, Washington, or Florida, and we have negotiated special rates for you in those states. There's other states that are tax-free, and if you have access to a mailbox in one of those states, then I would say go for it. You must name a curator. A curator is a third party necessary for the creation of the trust and appointment of the first trustee. That person has no further obligation, liability, or authority in the trust. List what you are exchanging into the trust. This is typically your currency. Do not list your homes, cars, etc. for this first or what we call mother lode trust. List yourself as exchanger. There need only be one, but most couples name both spouses. While the curator may name anyone of his or her choosing to be the first trustee, he or she typically names you. I mean, let's face it, you are the one that was smart enough to buy the currency, and you're the one that's smart enough to set up a trust, so you are the most likely choice to be the first trustee. You end up managing property that was once your own. When only one trustee is necessary, spouses are usually named as second trustee. The curator, exchanger, and trustee must all sign before a notary, so it is important to all reside in the same area. And we get this, folks, all the time. Well, I want to use my sister, but I'm in Texas and she's in Georgia. Well, that's not going to work, folks, unless one of you plans on traveling. So be very cognizant of that. Just about anybody that you trust can be your curator, but they do really need to reside in the same area as you. And you must name at least one successor trustee. This is a man or woman that will take over your trust as trustee should you become incapacitated or upon your demise. You cannot rule from the grave, so therefore you cannot name yourself or your second trustee to be the successor trustee. Typically, people will name their adult children. If their children are still minors, you can name the children, but you must also name an interim successor trustee to be in charge until the child reaches a significant age. You may choose to have a bloodline clause, which states that only blood-related family or children of your direct bloodline may be appointed as trustees or second trustees. We ask for your Social Security number in order to obtain an employer identification number or EIN for the trust. Sign the hold harmless agreement and provide payment information. We accept all major credit and debit cards. Our trusts are merely $19.95, and no, we do not intend to raise our prices post-service. Click Submit, and we take over from there. Turnaround time is typically 5 to 7 days. We do expect that to be a little longer post-RV. So, Jim, you and I have been talking about this application business for quite some time. Do you have anything to add before we open up for Q&A?
No, not really. You did a great job on that. The only thing we want to also mention is if there's any changes, you must submit them in writing to our change order, which is also on 3iTrustApp.com. Recently, we've had people try and give us information over the phone, and that doesn't work. We found out the hard way that the notes I take evidently aren't accurate because I didn't understand the name. They represented as maybe 2 words, and actually they wanted it to be 1 word to try and emphasize the name. So I have to redo a whole trust for that. So we need, from now on, if you have a change or you see something is not right on the trust, don't call us and tell us to make these changes. Use the form. That way we know we're going to get it done right, and we're going to get it done right away. They come directly to Carol's desk and my desk. Whenever you submit one, we both get a copy of it. So please use those from now on. We've had a couple issues now with UPS, and we do not want to be using UPS anymore. An exception to that would be if we're shipping to Florida or Canada. Other than that, we're going to use the United States Postal Service. UPS has lost some trust recently, and never been able to recover them as far as I know right now. So that means that I'm going to have to replace them. It's not really my responsibility, but we're going to do it anyway. And so that's pretty much the 3 things that I wanted to bring up. You brought up the first, I wanted to bring up the change order, and the other was UPS. You want to add to that, Carol?
No, but I have a question for you. Why not? You mentioned UPS in Florida. What was that?
No, USPS. We'll always use that. United States Postal
but you
Service.
mentioned Canada and Florida that we would use UPS.
Oh, Florida. I meant Hawaii.
Oh, okay. That makes more sense.
Yeah, sorry about that. I knew what I meant.
I guess I should have read your mind.
That's right. No, you don't want to do that. It's scary in there. Must be scary.
Yeah.
Okay, so no, it's Hawaii, because Hawaii is having a real challenge with the United States Postal Service. So
that makes more sense.
We agreed to do that with them.
Okay.
So
we do have, if you don't have anything else to add right now, we do have a couple questions.
Let's take the questions.
Okay. McKinley, area code 810. What's on your mind today?
Hello?
Hi.
Hello, young man. Hi. How are you?
Hey, how are you guys doing today? Listen, I've been pondering about how would one trust contract with another, and I'm looking at it, and I'm having a difficulty connecting what I'm reading with what to do. Since if you have what we call a mother-lode trust, management trust, or any other trust, you are going to contract for any reason listed here. Explain that to me, please.
Well, what we're trying to do is we're going to put this on the Internet probably in the next 3 or 4 days. We're going to put it on our website. We've had a lot of issues with that, and I figured out a way to do it. And so it's going to be a specific type of minute, and I'll put it in the new. Remember, everybody, I have this one category that says new, and then you can go right to that. It's got the hyperlink place in the website. The challenge with that is everybody's got a different way of wanting to do things. So we're going to create the contract, and we're going to leave some blanks, and we don't like leaving blanks, but we're going to have to because we don't know your trust names. So you're going to be able to download this, and that'll be in various forms, a PDF that you can modify, or Microsoft Word, or just a text. And then you'll be instructions say, well, if Trust A is going to do this with Trust B, then you use this phrase. Excuse me. And then so on and so forth. It'll be very, very self-explanatory. I've been working on it now for quite some time. And I thought about building an application, putting it on our website where you just fill in the blanks. It would automatically merge it, but that's just way too complicated.
That sounds easy. Okay.
Well, it may be easy for you, but not easy to build. And so what we want to do is make it generic. So all you got to do is Mother-lode trust goes here. Standard trust goes here. Real estate trust goes here. Automobile trust goes here. Just fill in the blanks. And so if it doesn't apply, if it's the standard trust to the mother-lode trust or the real estate trust to the mother-lode trust, then you ignore the other ones. You just, erase those. Don't use those. It's going to be a very short and sweet little deal. It's going to be really simple.
Okay. Right now, I just have a standard trust. I have not created a mother-lode trust.
Well, actually, the standard trust is the mother-lode trust. It's all one and the same. The only reason we said mother-lode is to clarify that would be your first trust you'd want, which is the same trust. We just use a different name to explain what it would be used for.
All right, sir. That's my questions, and you gave me the answers, and we're going to stick to it.
Yes, we are.
Thanks, McKinley.
Thanks so much, McKinley.
You're welcome. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Area code 704, Albay.
Yes. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Go ahead.
Oh, great. Thanks for all the work that you're doing. My question is dealing with the sweep accounts. According to number 1 in setting up accounts, that each of your currencies should have their own account. Now, do I tell the bank that at the time I'm at the bank the first time, or it's something I do at my next appointment? And then the other question to that is, these accounts, do I give them a name? Because it's not a trust account. Well, I don't know where it's a trust account or not, but account 2 sweeps into account 3, and so on and so on. So can you help me with that? just the understanding of the timing.
Well, what you're referring to was written, I got it a long time ago, was written apparently by an IRS agent. And the reason for doing all this is to preserve your anonymity and make your account less hackable. When this was written, I do not believe anybody had any inkling what the QFS or quantum financial system was about. My feeling is if we do have to follow this protocol, it will be at a subsequent appointment. I do not believe that we're going to be allowed to set up more than one account at our initial exchange. If you do have to do this, they are all going to be trust accounts. And I would name it Trust ABC Account 1, and then open up Trust ABC Account 2 and close one, et cetera, et cetera. You want to make the last one, obviously, the account that you're going to use. So at that point, you can just drop the numbering, Trust ABC or ABC Trust. Are you anything to add to that, Jim?
No, I think you did a perfect job on that because, again, things have changed so much lately. Folks, I don't listen to gurus. Never been right yet. Occasionally, somebody will drop me a quick post about something, but who knows what's going to happen when we get there? That's the problem. So.
Okay. So I will need to have additional trust set up now in order to create these other accounts, even though I'm not going to use it until after the RV?
No. Two different things. So
there's
the
a trust and there's a trust account, right, Jim?
Yeah, it's a trust account, and you're going to sweep it from one trust account. You're going to put the money in the account, or you're going to open this account, and then you're going to put the money in there, and then you're going to open another account on the same trust. You're going to move the money to the second account, and you're going to close the first account. Then you're going to create a third account. You can sweep it into the third account, close the second account. Now your third account is your primary account. That's what they were trying to tell us to do. Doesn't make a lot of sense to me, but that's what they said to do. So, and then, of course, you want to make sure you tell the banker that this is not for training purposes, not for the tellers to see. This is private. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to set it up where there is no account going, no way I can even see my account on the Internet. I don't want anywhere near the Internet. And what I'll do is when I want to move money from my Motherlode account, I will go see my wealth manager. And I will sit in front of him or her. We'll make the change, and then I'll walk out. And the reason I'm saying this is because folks think this thing through with me. If you have a Motherlode account and a teller sees it on the screen and it's like $20 gazillion, do you think she or he is not going to tell their family and friends what they saw? It's human nature. Don't give them the opportunity. So I'm going to make sure everything is extremely quiet and private. That's how I'm going to do it. Carol, suggestions?
Yeah. Well, I'm glad you brought that up, Jim. I know we have that in writing somewhere about non-training, et cetera, and I can dig it up, and perhaps we can put those few suggestions on the website.
We will do it today.
Okay. That would be great because I'm still not understanding. I understand the flow. I understand that. But I guess what I'm not understanding is how soon this needs to be done utilizing the same trust, which is the standard Motherlode trust, to these different accounts. I'm just sweeping from one account to the other, but still it's the Motherlode name, trust name.
That's correct. It is. And
what
you're doing, let me clarify. What you're doing, here's how it works. When you put an account together, the government's notified. IRS is notified. They all get to know all about your private stuff. Well, that's the primary account. They don't see subsequent accounts. They just see the primary account. So they see that primary account, then all of a sudden that account's closed. They don't know about the second account, nor the third account. So you're not doing anything illegal or unethical or immoral. What you're doing is you're doing self-protection, self-preservation. So that's all you're doing. The IRS has set this up. The agent that told us how to do this told us that. That's why you do it. They don't want when you close that account, all of a sudden that notice, as far as I can tell from the government, is null and void. And they don't know about the second and third account that you swept it to. That's what I understand the reason for that. And I don't know if it's true or accurate, but that's how I interpreted that notice that was sent to us. Makes me nervous, frankly, because, we just don't know how the government's going to react to this stuff. But again, we still don't understand the CFS quantum financial system as well as we should yet. Until we really understand that and know that, we may not have to do this. But we just don't know yet.
Okay, back to timing again, Jim. This needs to be done immediately. Am I correct?
Yes, you do it while you're at your first meeting. You do that at the first meeting. So when you get in there,
yes,
go
ahead.
Ask, but that's okay. For me, when I get there, I'm going to do this process. I'm going to put it in one account, then move it to a second account, close the first account, move it to a third account, close the second account, and then my money be in the third account. And, we're reading from what an IRS agent says is the wisest thing to do. Well, I don't know about that, but we're going to do it anyway. And then you're not trying to commit fraud or anything, so I don't see that the government could have anything to say about it. It's your money. You do anything you want with it. So you do it.
So you don't think we'll have any problems in getting it done at the first visit?
Well, I don't know. I really don't know. There's no way to know.
Okay. I hear you. I appreciate it.
All right. Thank you.
Well, we will get that on the internet today sometime.
All right. Thank you.
But thank you for the question. Uh-huh.
Yeah.
That was a good one.
Cheryl, you have something on your mind today. Cheryl?
Hello?
Hello, Cheryl.
Oh, yes. When one of the other things that it says in that about sweeping from one account to the other were also the instructions of putting, like if you have 3 different types of currencies, the Dong, the BNB, and the Zim, you open one for each of those for keeping them separate in case of tax requirements for keep that for a year, keep 15 to 50% in a separate account for that, as well as those other sub accounts for projects and personal and that sort of thing. Do we do that at the first meeting also?
We just don't know. I mean, we just don't know. That's the problem with all of this stuff is all the gurus say different things. We don't know. It's very, very, very frustrating for me because I'd like to know in advance. I'm a planning type guy. I like to have a game plan and work the plan, and we just don't know. That's the problem with this whole situation is there's been no documents ever that I've ever found issued by the federal government in any way saying this is even legitimate. Well, we know it is, but they don't want to participate. Now, I think that will change shortly as soon as the QFS is actually brought online and we get the Nassar announcement, which I read something yesterday that it happened a couple of days ago, but I'm not holding my breath.
Yeah, I heard that happened a couple of days ago, and also they're talking about us getting the numbers like today if we didn't get them yesterday, or and Monday at the latest because Trump wanted it done before his birthday, which is Monday.
Well, how many times have we heard some stupid reasoning for having the numbers issued by this certain date? I mean, this has been going on for 10, 12, 13 years. So, sorry, I just can't get excited anymore.
Me either.
What is the bonds? They said the bonds were being paid out the other day, and that started, and then they decided they wanted to include what was left with the Tier 4B, which is all of us on the internet. They said was a couple million of us, and that they were going to be giving us all, starting on the East Coast. They had 5 blocks, and we're going to give the phone numbers out
Again, this is all, this is all rumors, and we really don't want to go into the rumors on this call. It's hyperbole. It's a bunch of gurus trying to make a name for themselves, and they've never been right, and I get tired of them, and I don't pay too much attention to them. And this hopium that we're all living on is getting, it's getting obnoxious.
Yes.
And this is not what this call is really about. We need to get into how this document, the series of documents, will protect you. And when it does happen, you'll be prepared. But right now, I'm not holding my breath for this stuff. I'm just doing my job, And I'm sorry, but it just doesn't work for me. I'm
okay.
All those rumors, they're the same rumor, different day.
Yeah, it makes you want to quit holding your breath.
Absolutely.
When we do get a phone call and we can get the appointment to go in, I understood initially it's only us, not supposed to be anybody else. But if you
we don't know.
If you need to,
I'm trying to explain. We don't know. We don't know. We don't know any more than you do. We don't know. It's when you get the notice, they'll explain it. When you make the phone call, they'll explain it. In the interim, sit back and enjoy. There's nothing going on here. There's nothing going on. And I'm just trying to tell you that we don't know.
Okay, you said that it would be good to have, or Carol, while doing the information about it, if I have like my sister and my partner, and they can't manage to get a trust yet until after we have it in, so they're putting their money with mine, and when we fill in that place on the minute one about what we're putting into the account, say if I have so many of the Zim and they have some in each, I just say I have so many units. I don't say the total amount.
No, you don't put the amount in until after the RV. That's why we put a blank in front of those, because we don't want to know, and we don't want you to tell us how much. I see people put on the applications. Please don't do that. We don't want to know. You can do anything you want with your family and friends. The thing is, we don't want to know. So we put the blank after you go to the exchange. And when you get home and after your second or third drink, then you can fill in the blanks, because you'll have an idea how much was valid, how much you got. And that's just for your trust.
Oh, okay.
It's just a private thing for your accounting in the future, for your successors to understand what really happened. See, the minutes of the trust is the history. It's like the trust is the birth certificate of an individual. And now every minute that you add to that is instructions or their diary, their legend of what they accomplished. And this will go on for 25 years, and then you renew the trust, goes on. I've already got trust that I have renewed. I'm in my 30th, 36th, and 37th year now with a couple of my trusts.
Oh, my goodness.
I probably have 30 minutes, maybe 40 minutes in these trusts, because not a lot accomplished, because we've not had the event. But it's like a family diary, exactly what's going on. So you treat the trust that way. You put the information in there, but you keep it quiet, and it's private. Only people who see this is you and the successors.
Okay, and then on the instruction at the top of that, it says you're putting in $100 to,
right.
I guess, to open the account, because Wells Fargo requires $100 to open an account, and yet we're told not mix the currencies with the dollars.
Well, we don't know. I mean, we read this stuff, but wait till you get to the bank and ask them. There's no way to know. I mean, these gurus are saying things. I think they just get it out of their bottom end. They just come up with stuff because it's a new day, and they got something to lie. They got to tell. I'm sorry, folks, but that's the way I feel about it. It's been going on for years and years. I got to come up with something new to keep you captivated, keep the Hopian flowing, and we just want to stay out.
Okay. Well, you said that you got one of those Brother 17,000W scanners.
Yes.
And we went to look at those and found there were so many problems with those. Have you been able to make yours work?
Works perfectly. I've been scanning binder after binder of information into my computer with it.
Oh, my goodness. Okay.
Yeah, it does 2 sides of a page. It does 40 pages at a time. I get both sides. It goes in as whatever I tell it to be, and then it goes in as an image. I can convert it to what it was, a Word document, or I can convert it to any document I want. It works perfectly. I love it.
40 pages of what? I mean...
I take 40 pages. I can stack 40 pages in the document feeder. It goes through in a matter of seconds, and both sides of the page are scanned, and they come up on the screen on my computer.
Wow. Well, now how do you put your bills in there? I mean, like the dong and those things.
Well, you just slide the center piece together to where it's just wide enough for the currency. Stack 30 or 40 of them in there and just push the button. It scans both sides, but I highly recommend you don't scan it in color. Scan it in black and white.
Yeah, black and white. Okay. Well, I know I had a lot of questions, but I'll leave it at that until one really gets strong or something.
Okay. Thank you.
I guess we may revisit that again. Scan.
All right.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you, Carol.
I appreciate all the work you're doing, and I look forward to looking at the new page because I hadn't found anything there yet.
Well,
what you're putting together.
We'll get some stuff on there. We've just been slammed with work, and I'm moving and all kinds of stuff. Anyway, yeah, we'll get some stuff on there right away.
Okay. Oh, well, maybe I could ask this question since I'm not here right now. He was wondering if he should put his money into oh shoot, I forgot the word he used, but he has an LLC subchapter S already with an EIN, and he thought it would be safe to put that into an escrow account in the bank.
No idea. We're not financial consultants on that. I mean, you need to get somebody that's got a license who can tell you what to do with that stuff. We don't have any solutions for that. That's beyond our scope.
Okay. Well, I'll have him pose the question to you, send you an email or something.
Okay. That's fine. Do that.
I'll tell him that. Thank you.
Thanks, Carol. Okay.
Yes?
Okay. Well, Mr. Martin, you're next. How are you today?
I'm doing well. How are you?
We're doing okay.
I'm as fine as frog's fur. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm equally as furry. I might be interrupting a little bit. I like Jim and Carol, am very dubious about some of the information that we've received. But to clarify some of this information that people are asking, you're asking technical questions that if anybody were to really try to answer it for you, is going to be technical advice way out of your realm of expertise, and you don't want to be there. One of the things that we've been suggested to do is get all the funds put into the Motherlode account day of visitation, the first visit. Following that, you will have a second visit. That visit will be with your independent wealth manager at whatever bank you're going to be dealing with, and you very well will have a treasury agent there too. One of the things that you're going to want to start doing is charging your wealth manager and helping you put together your team of advisors. One of the members of your team of advisors should be a major accounting firm, in my opinion, like BDO, Ernst & Young, whatever. And you get a major attorney's firm doing the same. You have your bank, put them on retainer, and then your third meeting, you have those people there, and you ask these people the questions that you're asking now about moving this, moving that, what do I do here, what do I do there, and they will advise you, giving you the best advice available through their avenues of expertise. As it relates to the Motherlode Trust and the initial meeting, I think what has boiled down after months and months and months is that the suggestion is we're only going to have 20 to maybe 25, 30 minutes max to go in and say, hi, how you doing? I am. Here's my stuff. These are my projects. You're only going to have about 5 minutes to talk about your projects. You've got a CIS you're going to have to deal with, all of your identifications, the whole shooting match. The suggestion was put all of your money that they are going to give you from all sources into the Motherlode account. The question then is, well, what if I have Dong and Dinar and Rupiah and whatever else? You should have by now a summary sheet of all of your currency and the serial numbers of each item. That way, if they plop it all in one account, when you get to your second meeting in the bank with your wealth manager, you can say, I got this much Zim, and I want that to remain in this account. I've got that much Dinar or Rupiah or whatever else, and I want to put them into new accounts today. They will open those accounts. They'll swipe them over there. Now you have your separate accounts for that potential tax situation. But that's going to be done on your second day. If you overburden them with, I need to do this and I need to do that, and I want to, they're not going to be able to do it on the initial day because you won't have time.
Now, Jim, you have certain licenses so you can do this type of stuff and talk about this, correct?
I used to have all the licenses necessary to do all this. I have retired them as I have retired. They got gray hair like I did.
Okay, I understand. I remember you got my bio the other day, and you know where I was at.
Yes.
Yeah. So why don't you go ahead and make that special announcement for us?
I'll be happy to. Jim Knox and I will be meeting with a gentleman whose name is Brent Johnson. Brent is an individual that has been involved in this for an awful long time. Long story short, he was effectively run out of the country here for his own protection and lives on the island of Tonga. He, Jim, and I will be having a conference call on the 21st of this month at 6 o'clock p.m. At 6:15, if you are interested, you need to let Jim and Carol know so that you can be given the dial-in instructions as an invitee. And at 6:15, we will open that up. Brent will explain what he does. He works with foundations. Somebody mentioned foundations earlier. Brent works with trusts. He works with foundations. He has a wealth manager in Switzerland that if you're interested, he will coordinate with you and introduce you one-on-one. He deals with duplicate passports. He deals with in sharing with you how to get them, if you will. He doesn't do them, but he shares with you how you can get duplicate passports or multiple passports, golden visas. He can share with you an avenue that involves him and his organizations that effectively make you a member of the press, which gives you certain rights and so forth. I think it would be a very informative meeting. He will explain the things that he does and so forth, and then we will endeavor to open it up for a brief Q&A. But don't forget, you can't ask people that are not appropriately licensed in that area some of the specifics that I'm hearing today. And I understand everybody has the questions. I truly do. But you want to build your team. Again, your team should be your wealth manager and your bank. Are you going to leave all your stuff in that bank? Likely not. We're going to be discussing, and we put together a list that will be made available to everybody to do your own research, but some suggestions like Fisher Investments and a bullion company for precious metals and so forth. Do your own diligence. And you may decide, I don't want to go there, I want to go over here. But you're going to have to start doing some due diligence, figure out what you want. But we've got to get through this meeting first. And the purpose of the meeting with Brent on the 21st is to help people understand there's a lot more coming. And if you're interested, it opens another avenue to learn more about what you can do to protect your assets, those of your family, and be able to enjoy what we put together and learn how to use it correctly.
This is exactly what we've been wanting, and we finally got it squared away. Carol's going to be very much involved in this, along with me. this is kind of a situation we've been building towards, I don't know, for a couple months in the gym, and then we finally got everybody lined up.
Yes.
And I will be still in Salem for that call. There's been some change in plans, Jim. I'll tell you about that later. I'm still moving to Florida. You're not going to get rid of me that easy. And but it's going to be a little towards the end of the month. So this call, folks, we brought this on because this is the type of stuff that Carol and I cannot get involved in. So we're bringing on the big guns. And that's why I am adamant that I'm not going to answer the questions because I don't have a license for that. I had a securities license. I had a life insurance license. I've had a real estate license in multiple states. I've done a lot of this stuff. I know I'm not licensed to do it, so I can't talk about it. Haven't had the license, I certainly know my limitations, and they'll come get me if I go beyond those. We're not trying to be rude with everybody, just trying to inform you that we're not there. We're not licensed for that. So Brent will be able to clear up all this stuff, and then we'll be able to be the conduit for you folks to him. And Jim Martin will be very much involved in this. In fact, he's on the East Coast, and when I get there, that'll be my first trips is go up there and sit down with him and go over some of this stuff and figure out because the relationship you're going to have with us is long-term. And I'm telling you right now, folks, there's been a huge change in what Carol and I are getting ready to do, and this is one of the changes. Carol and I had a conference call yesterday between us. We decided that we're going to continue. We're not going to just do this for 6 months and hang up the hat and go away. No. This baby is going to be our legacy. We're going to make this thing rock. That's it.
I might add a couple of things here. Building your team is critical. You need to be thinking about who you need on your team. You need to learn the names of the people that are the wealth managers in the private side of the Wells Fargo Bank or wherever you're planning to go, so that when you call them and say, we have had this windfall, I need to sit down and talk with you, they'll be able to do that. If you call them or you call Ernst & Young or BDO and you tell them, I've got this big windfall coming, they're not going to talk to you now. Nobody will talk to you now. The wealth manager in Switzerland will not talk to you now. They just will not do it. Get your team put together, at least in your head, preferably on paper, a legal team, an accounting team, a security team, an IT specialist to help you with your IT information on your computer, because some people only know how to turn them off and turn them on. You've got to have it a lot more secure than that with what you're getting ready to get into. We have a CCIM on board as our real estate person. If you understand the CCIM, that's like a realtor that has the equivalent of a master's degree or a PhD in real estate. They can do things that a regular realtor cannot, relative to looking at a piece of property, vetting it, determining if the income stream is sufficient enough to make an offer on it to buy it, or tell you what you should be offering. You need to build your team. They will be able to help and guide you. Also, the bank is going to have training for each and every one of you new depositors. You will have other gurus, such as some of the folks that we have been involved with, the names you know, the Flemings, all those folks, Shelton and so forth, they're going to have their own training that you can tap into and learn about. And then there is the Family Office Network called Fox. Interestingly enough, the Wells Fargo group that used to be Abbott Downing is a member of that. It's not inexpensive to get into, but you'll have the ability to do that. And in there, you will learn what other people with big pots of money are doing. You will even learn some of the projects they have that you might want to invest in. They'll learn about some of your projects. They may want to invest in your projects. It's an amalgamation of people of like knowledge and wealth. That's what you need to be focusing on right now instead of the specific questions, because the specific questions will start to be answered at your second meeting.
Okay. Mm-hmm. So basically what we're going to do, I'm going to have this big shindig on the 21st. You're going to be able to get some names and some numbers. They're going to emphasize exactly what Jim just said, what I've been trying to say. He's much more eloquent than I am about it. And we will get this information out to you right away. will post it on the website. Remember, this is a members-only website. We'll post it on the website under the new tag once I get it all put together later today. And then you dial in. And so there's no reason to have to call Carol or myself or even Jim, because I'll put it there, and I'll make sure that I get it right, and I'll talk with Jim about it. I'll send it to Jim first, make sure it's right, and then that we have all the wording that protects us, him, and everybody, and then we'll put that on there, and you can go find out when this call is, 6 o'clock, 6:15, on the 21st. And this is just the beginning of some of the things that we want to bring to you. So, Carol, you got any questions, any comments?
No, I'm looking forward to this as much as you are. I'm all for it. You mentioned longevity and sticking around for the long term. Many of you know I started with Indicator. My husband Jay and I started in 1992. And our goal at the time was to bring something to people that would be of value to them for a lifetime. And so, as you just said, Jim, we're not just in it for 6 months and then we're gone. With the addition that Jim and Brent Johnson are going to bring to this group, we are in this for the long haul. We want to be your partners in your life and your assets, and making sure you keep your assets. And that was the whole goal back in 1992. And I know, Jim, you go back further than I do, but that was the goal then, as it is now.
Yep. We've decided to just continue. We had a long heart-to-heart talk about this, and we both decided we just can't abandon this thing. So we're going to be with you guys for a long, long time.
See, I'm not the only one that's breaking up there.
Yep. So, anyway, we'll get this thing done. Let's get on with some more questions. Jim, you got anything else you want to add before you mute yourself?
No, I'll listen, and if something else pops up, I'll wave back in.
All right. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Happy to help.
All right.
Bye-bye. All right. We have a couple more questions here. Yvonne, what are you up to today? Yvonne?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
I wanted to know what is a pass-through account? Carol, you've mentioned that a bunch of times, and I really don't know.
Well,
I'm trying to think. Jim, go ahead. I think you probably have
a pass-through account is simply you're going to put the money in an account, and then you're going to move it to another account. And we just call it a pass-through account. As far as I know, I'm not a banker, it just passes from one account to the other automatically. I don't know. Carol, you know more about this than I do, I think.
No, exactly. I mean, it's a very, very simple explanation, but Jim's got his hand up again, so maybe he can answer the question. Jim, you got an answer for that one?
Well, having been a banker, call your Motherlode Trust account 1. And what Jim had suggested is, and I've heard this for years, and from people that are elevated, like they've shared with you about this IRS agent, is to shift it from account 1 to account 2. Close account 1. Then from account 2, you shift it to account 3, and then you close account 2. Account 2 has been nothing more than a pass-through account. The money has passed straight through it from 1 to 3 through to number 2 is the pass-through account. That's all it is. It's an avenue by which you're shifting money from in a conduit from one account to another account. And in doing so, that screws up the bank's ability to be able to track it. And that's what you want. And of course, Jim nailed it when he said, we don't really understand the QFS. Based on what I understand about that, it makes no difference. You shouldn't have to be able to do that. But it's your right to do that. I will be doing that only because I don't know what the QFS is going to do to protect me.
Yeah, it comes back to my famous statement. We don't know what we don't know. We can't ask a question. It's,
let's go back to Yvonne and see if that answers her question. Okay.
Yes.
Yvonne, you're back online. Did that answer your question?
I am. So that's the same thing as a sweeping account, right?
It's a process, the same process.
Yeah. Somebody needs to turn off their phone.
Can y'all hear me?
Yeah.
Any account can be swept. And a sweeping account is if you have an investment account, and that investment account has made money. You can have the funds that came in from interest earned, royalties earned, whatever. You can have those funds swept into another account. Sweeping is nothing more than movement of money. They're moving it from one account to another when they sweep it. Good example. I used to, in a former line of work, ask business owners, when do you make your payroll? Make payroll on Thursday, give it out on Friday. When do you give it out? We give it out early in the morning. My suggestion to them was, don't do that. Give them the check after 2 o'clock. Why? Because if they get their check after 2 o'clock and they go to the bank on their break and cash it, it goes into Monday's work. But they have made their funds available to cover all the checks on Thursday. So they've instructed their bank to sweep the interest that they can on that account into their business account for Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday until the people get to the bank on Monday. Again, sweeping is nothing more than taking portions of funds from one account and moving them to another. There's no magic to that.
Perfect. Excellent.
Okay. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Oh, okay. I understand that. I do have another question, if you don't mind.
Go ahead.
Where does the salary come from? Is that from the motherlode account or from the management account?
Wherever you want it to come from.
Yeah. Oh, okay. I think that's all the questions I have right now, and I really appreciate your help. And Jim, you have an awful lot of stuff on the website, and it is a little difficult to find everything. And in the little queue, the question to search, I can never find anything that way.
Well, probably the reason for that is because the system's not set up for what they call an external search. The search will give you other areas of the website, but I did it intentionally. I didn't want everybody to use the search because then, I guess technically, here's the deal. The search can be hacked and then get all my material. And we've been hacked 3 times. And we're still trying to get this website up and running perfectly again since the last attack, which was about 2 weeks ago. And it was down for 2 days. I don't know if you people knew it, but it was down for 2 days. And I was sweating bullets. I thought, oh, no, here we go again. But I got it back up. Fortunately, one of the programs that we installed, we pay a lot of money for, caught it and segregated the virus. We'll just call it the virus. And I was able to remove it and back up the system and clean it up and get it up on again. So I know people get annoyed because the passwords are very, very long and very, very hard to use, but I'm not changing them. Folks, we have spent so much money and time rebuilding these webs the 3rd time. This would have been the 4th time if they would have won, but we beat them this time. So I apologize if it's a little difficult, but hey, I'm doing the best I can.
Oh, that's okay. I just wanted to know if there was something that I was doing wrong when I typed something into the question mark field there. But it's okay. I'll just keep pounding away and looking for stuff that I have a question about. But thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of the weekend, and bye.
All right. Thanks, John.
Bye-bye.
Okay.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
On that note, folks, thank you, Mom. That was perfect because you brought up something I've been trying to figure out how to do, and I just figured it out. Whenever you find something that you know you're going to go back to, the way I set up the website, that document will have its own URL. It'll be indicatorinformation.com / and it'll have the page name or the description of the page. Copy that. Just grab it and copy it, and then just, whenever you know you're going to go back to that one, just put it on your desktop someplace or in a folder. And then you can just click on it and go back to it, especially with the minutes. We're going to increase that a lot. Folks, I have over 800 minutes I'm trying to get finished up to get on the website. And it'll be by category. We had it on what was it, the second time we got hacked, Carol? We had all that stuff done, right?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, and we lost it all. And
we went through all of that before I moved to Oklahoma.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It's just been a disaster. Anyway, copy the URL of those favorites that you want to go back to, like the minutes or whatever, and just put them on your desktop. That'll help. All right. Any other questions?
Oh, yes, we do. Okay. Miss Veronica, what's on your mind today?
Hi, Carol.
Veronica?
Hi, Jim.
Hi.
How are you?
Good.
How is everybody today? Good?
Good.
Well, I have two questions. And the first one is, will we be contacted as far as the conference call or told when it's going to be? Because I didn't hear that.
Yeah, we're going to put it on the website. And
okay.
We'll probably do a blast email, kind of like we normally do on our conference calls. Mm-hmm. And I'm sure that'll be going out. I'll talk to Jim Martin about that and Carol about that, but it'll definitely be on the website.
Okay, so then we'll know when it's there, because not all of us are checking it every day. So we'll know when it's there so we can follow up, right?
It'll be on there later today.
Oh, today. Okay, great. The other thing is, I really appreciate that you're getting back to these old questions as far as when we go to the bank. So when we go to the bank, we let them know after we finish a transaction that we want to change at that time, or we wait for the second appointment to say we want it changed. Because I was under the impression that, we shouldn't have so much of a space between the time we went there, the time we go there, and the next one, because it's record and that's history that is going to be available to the public, as it were. So let me ask you, when do we let them know that we want to close one account and sweep things into the second account?
Jim,
let me interject for a moment here. Jim Martin, you're back online if you'd like to add anything.
I don't have anything to add at the moment.
Okay. Well,
okay.
What he said, Veronica, a few minutes ago, is you do that on the second appointment. The first appointment, you're just going to drop off your currency, so to speak, and leave. And then the second appointment is when you meet with your wealth managers. Then they sweep it. Remember, they're going to know about
anything on the first meeting.
Yeah, not the first meeting, the second meeting, he said. So even though they know about the first meeting and you got your money in there, they've got that. Where you're going to sweep it out of that account through the second account into the third, then all that information on the first account is no longer valid. So they won't even know where you're at.
Yes. Okay, I got that. My question is, do we mention that we're going to sweep things over on the first meeting, or do we wait for the second meeting?
I guess wait till the second meeting. I don't think the person at the first meeting will give a what you do with your money. They're there to get your money and get you out of the face.
Yeah.
So then, if there's quite a difference between the first meeting and the and difference in time as far as how many days or whatever, isn't there some sort of ongoing record available now to the public that this money is there? I mean,
not going to the public; it's in the bank.
Or in the bank.
Jim, go ahead.
Let me interrupt here. I think this will help. One of the things that you need to do at your first meeting, as I mentioned, everybody should have a list of your currency from the highest number, the highest denomination to the smallest, and the serial number. I have 2 separate tally sheets showing all of that information that I intend to give to the bankers. And I'm going to sign. I've got 2 copies, one for me and one for them. And I'm going to sign both copies, and I want them to sign both copies because it's going to cover 4 different currencies. This spreadsheet has all the information on it. It's just a listing of the currency, the denominations, and the serial number for each bill. I'm not worried about copies of them. I've got the data there. And with the serial numbers and have them sign off on it, basically what you've received is the equivalent of a safekeeping receipt. They've validated that you have left that information or those currencies with them. When you go to your second meeting is when you would want to have them break that out, because you'll know how much they gave you for the Zim and how much they gave you for your dinar. And all you tell them is, all that I have here that they qualified me for the dinar, I want that put in a separate account now. So we need to open an account for that. They will do that.
Okay. All right, so then, Jim, getting back to what we were talking about the last time, that, as far as, because I got the machine to copy, so I have a record of what I have now, or what I'm giving in. Now, that means, based on what we're learning today, we have to sit down and write down those numbers. It cannot be used as a digital, the digital thing we're doing, we cannot use that to be the record. Because now we're talking about a spreadsheet with each number, each serial number listed. And if that's the case, then what do we do with the others? I mean, we're not going to use the machine information anymore, the copy machine. No, that's copy.
No, I've used a scanner on a lot of things. I'm just going to scan all my money, and I'm going to put it in on a thumb drive. Mm-hmm. And I've got enough bills to take me a week to write them all down, so I don't know exactly what I'm going to do about that. Unfortunately, the scanner won't capture just the number and transfer it over to a spreadsheet. So I don't know. I don't have an answer for that right now. Again, this is supposed to be about other things other than this, but, we're on this path.
So
you're going to have to work it out for yourself on how you want to do it. Nobody knows the answer to that. I mean, we really don't.
The scanner cannot do that, right? The scanner cannot pick up the numbers and save us the trouble of writing that ourselves, right?
As far as I know, you can probably find some software that may do it, but I don't know anything about it.
Mm-hmm. So then, and the other question I'm concerned about is that here it is that the bank is insured for so much money, and we're going to put a lot more than that in the bank. So then what do we do there? I mean, are we supposed to split up among different banks? Because if they're insured for so little and you have so much more, then what do you do there?
Don't know. I mean, again, you're asking questions that I'm not licensed to answer.
Jim, just one more thing. The renewal. The renewal is done a certain way. You said you're going to have it on the site. So I haven't gotten to that point yet, but basically it's not anything that involves any other person. It's just that you're making a note, is that it, as it were, making an entry into the trust to say that you renewed it, or what is involved with that?
Just a minute. It says that the Board of Trustees have got together, decided to extend the trust for another 25 years and sign it.
Okay, that's what I wanted to know. Well, thank you so much for you.
A lot of years before that happened.
All right. Thank you.
Really? All right. Thank you, Veronica.
Right.
Thank you.
Bye-bye. Okay, let's see. We have Miss Una. How are you today, my dear? Una?
Hello. Yes,
Hello.
Hi, Karen.
Hi.
Hello. You hearing me?
Yes,
okay.
we are.
Good. Well, I don't know what time it is there. Anyway, I'd opened my accounts for the currency already, but then I eventually had to close it because it wasn't coming quick enough. Would they be able to use those accounts? Can they reopen it, or I have to open new accounts?
I would recommend a new account. Once you get there, they're not going to use the old account.
Okay. All right. Okay, because you answered the other question already.
Yeah. So, they're not going to use your old accounts. Just go in there and get a new account and just, get rid of the old accounts.
Yeah.
I highly recommend nobody open an account. Go ahead, Carol.
I agree. I have accounts at two different banks for my mother-in-law trust. I have them here. They are. Here's the numbers. Open a new account for me. And then just close the first one. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yep. That's what I'm doing too.
Okay. Thank you. Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Mm-hmm. All right. Victor.
Hello.
Hello.
Yes. Thank you. Yeah, the last young lady, she just kind of answered my question. I wanted to know, at your appointment, should you open up new accounts? Because I have like 3 different currencies, and I wanted to know if I should open up 3 new accounts at my appointment.
Yeah, I would.
Yeah, and one last thing, how many cashier checks would I be able to get? Do you know that?
No idea. I would imagine as many as you want, but I think they'll put a limit on how much you can take out of the bank totally until your second meeting. You're really not going to need as far as I understand it, you're really not going to need a lot of cashier's checks. You're going to get a safekeeping receipt. You're going to get all this documentation, and the wealth manager is going to, or the bank's going to vouch for anything. Say, they'll give you letters saying that you can buy anything up to X amount of dollars. You may want to have 3 or 4 of those letters, one for up to $1 million, one for up to $3 million, one for up to $5 million, or whatever your numbers are. And you present those to people that you're trying to do business with, and the bank's going to guarantee those funds within 8 to 10 or 12 days. That's not uncommon when you do big stuff. I've done that in the past when I had my companies in Alaska, but that's exactly how we did it. I would get a letter from the banker. I'd go buy a truck or a trailer or whatever I was buying, and I'd present that, and they'd give me a receipt, and then I submit the invoice, which was their receipt, turned into an invoice to my bank. They cut the check and had it delivered within a day. They're going to give you that facility, as far as I know, when you go there.
Okay, great.
So,
yeah, because I wasn't sure if I wanted to use the wealth manager at the bank. I wanted to find one with the trust company, because I know that they'll be primarily working with the bank, and I wanted my own personal wealth manager with a trust company.
Right. Well, again, Jim's more qualified to answer that than I am, but I think that we probably beat that one up pretty good, where just go to your first appointment, make your deposit. They'll give you some credentials that you'll get on the first appointment, not a lot. The second appointment, which should be very quick, I would say within 3 or 4 days, they're going to have you in there. They want to get use of your money. I mean, they are bankers.
Right.
Or I'm called banksters. So they want to get their hands on that money, and, of course, we're going to not let them have it. We're going to let them not use it, but they're going to try. So,
all right, then. All right. Thank you so much.
All right.
I appreciate
Jim, you there?
All right.
Just a couple of things to add to help this gentleman and one of the ladies before. The talking heads that are prevailing presently have suggested at the initial meeting you likely will not be walking away with less than $10,000 of cash in your pocket and or cashier's checks, because that makes you a liability on the street. They are going to give you a credit card or a debit card that will have a good size number on it, possibly and likely in the millions, so that you could go take care of buying your house, getting that started, and or buying the car. They will also give you statements, as Jim has mentioned, indicating that you have the cash wherewithal of $1 million, $2 million, whatever, that you can present when you're buying that car or that automobile or the house, whatever, so they know that you're not just, you haven't been smoking those old Gold Cup socks, that you really are serious here about what's going on. As it relates to the question about what the insurance, that it only covers, what is it, $250,000? One of the things that I did a little research on was part of what you want the bank to do for you is to apply for and acquire insurance from Lloyd's of London or somebody very similar to that to protect your funds in that bank from fraud, misuse. Most people know what a bailout is, but a bail-in is where the bank can reach in, like they did in Greece, and take your funds to solve their problems. So you tell them part of what I want you to do, and I know you're going to pay for it, but that's fine because you'll certainly have the wherewithal to do it. Get that insurance from Lloyd's of London, and let's see, that was the last item that I had here that had been mentioned. That solves that problem, I think.
All right. Thank you, Jim. All right, we've got 4 more people in the queue, and it's already 10 after the hour, so let's just take these 4 and call it a day.
All right,
next,
do it.
Next one up is Hiltrude. How are you, my dear?
Yes, this is Hiltrude from Minneapolis. I'm sorry, it has probably been answered, but I have to ask again. The gentleman says that he gives to the bankers 2 copies of his list of currencies that he has. I understand that. I want to do the same, but I have been told that you do only list the name of the currency and not the amount. Is that correct? Is that what he does when he gives this to the bankers?
Would you like for me to answer that, Jimbo?
Yes,
please, Jim.
My spreadsheets or the documents that I have the serial number, the type, the Zimbabwe notes or bonds, and it will have the amount on there. You're dealing with the people that are going to help you with your conversion. And the purpose of having 2 copies signed by me and by them is they keep one and I keep one. So of those 2, you're going to walk away with one, which effectively is like your safekeeping receipt. It shows that you have given to the bankers X number of bonds or currency certificates and what their denominations were. So there'll be no dispute over it if everybody signed off on it.
I understand this. Thank you so very much. I was just held back because somebody said never ever tell them how much you have. But thank you. I assumed what you have just told me. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Good question. Good question. All right. Let's see. Cheryl is back. Another question, Cheryl?
Yes, this was just about. I also have been having difficulty finding my way around the website and finding my way back to something. Haven't managed it. One of them was the archive. There was an example of an archived letter of the $21 in currency that the creator gives you along with the certificates, and that was archived, and the instructions are you have all the serial numbers of each bill of that $21, and then that all goes into an envelope. It's sealed, and then that note with all of those serial numbers of the bills has to be notarized as well as taping it onto the minute sheet?
No, I don't even remember writing that. We really don't care about the serial numbers on those. The idea of the 21 lawful dollars is you're entitled to a jury trial any debt over $20, and so you want to be able to be in that realm. And all you do is you put the $21 base amount of $21, could be a 5, a couple 5s, 10, and a 1, whatever. You seal it, put it in an envelope, and there's a place on the trust that says, place $21 here. And you either staple it or glue it to that, and you should never, ever open it unless the court wants to see it to prove that you used real money or attempted to use real money, not currency, to do your contract. And that's all we're trying to do is prove them that we try to do everything by the book, but because the way that they're operating, you can't do it. So the best thing to do is use silver certificates because it does have evidence. They are evidence that someplace there's 21 silver dollars.
Okay.
So
and then it doesn't need to be notarized.
No.
We didn't do that exchange in front of the notary. We just said, well, we did that at home.
Well, it's never come up because the notary is only there to notarize a signature. See, the trust is not notarized, just the signatures. They're just verifying that you were there and you did sign that document. So the trust is not notarized. It's just your signature. And they should never even ask the question about the $21. It's none of their business. They're there to make sure you're who you say you are, and that's their sole job. And I happen to know a notary personally, Carol.
That is true. All the notary has to do is acknowledge that it's you and you're signing it of your own free will.
Right. Okay. And then it says that the abstract and the EIN number, which I guess the one that I printed from the email, the EIN, the IRS, that form with the EIN number is what I have to show at the bank. Both the abstract and the EIN number when I open it.
In our experience throughout the years, those are the only two items that have been necessary to open a bank account, the abstract of trust and the EIN letter. And we are assuming, again, because nobody knows what we don't know yet, we're assuming that is all you're going to need at your exchange.
Okay. And I don't need to take my trust binder.
All you're going to need is the abstract of trust and the EIN letter.
Okay.
Yep.
Well,
Okay. All right. Thank you, Cheryl.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Bye-bye.
All right. Daphne, haven't heard from you in a while.
Hi, Carol. How you doing?
Pretty good.
All right. Very good. Hi, Jim.
Hello.
Thank you. I have a question in regards to that FinCEN form. There's one that has investment on it and exchange. And because this is currency, we should be checking exchange, right?
Yeah.
Because otherwise it's taxable.
That's correct. You should be checking exchange on the FinCEN form. Is that correct?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, I just wanted to double check and make sure. I don't know how many people are aware, but I know there's probably two of them. One of them is for taking $10,000 or less, I guess it is. But the other one, that was my main concern, was the one that says investment, because once you check investment, and you need to be aware of that it will be taxable, versus what you're really doing is making an exchange. Just wanted to make it clear. Thank you.
Correct or not. Thank you.
Okay.
Good point to bring up. Appreciate it. Okay, our last caller is from Asheville, North Carolina, area code 828.
Yes, ma'am. I have two questions here. One for Jim Martin. I just wondered whether his phone number would be available to receive a call at some point, or does he want to remain anonymous?
I'm happy to help anybody if they've got a question.
Okay, what phone number would I use?
I've got your phone number here. Let me call you.
Okay, my phone.
I see it.
Phone.
I've got your phone.
Okay. Can you just send me a text message, because I'm usually not on my phone? So if you just send me a text and say give me a way to contact you, because you contacting me isn't going to work. Pardon?
What is your first name?
Jim.
Oh boy, that's good.
Yeah, I know.
Yes.
Okay.
I'll
Thanks.
send you a text.
Thanks, Jim. And the other.
Mine will show up as Jim Martin or Jim Squared, one or the other. You can be Jim.
Okay. The other question is just. Go ahead.
I'll say you have a second question. Go ahead.
Yes. I'm just curious if you think there's any potential problem with this. You've talked about when you open your Motherlode account, you put it into account number 1, and that is disseminated to governments, IRS, blah, blah. And then we change it, and that disappears. Do you think there's any potential problem for somebody looking at that and saying, gosh, this guy put $50 million in the bank, now it's not there. We need to go check out this guy and see what's going on.
I don't see a problem with that because they'll full well know what's going on, that we are currency holders, and there'll be millions of people doing that, and they don't have a crew big enough to take care of that. I personally don't see that being a problem. And I think that what they'll say is, they must have been listening to Jim and Carol and Jim Martin.
Let me give you a thought here, if I might, Jim and Carol.
Sure.
And Jim, one of the things we're looking to do in building that team is an accounting for where these funds go. We're going to use the team to assist us with vetting the sources that are going to be looked at to receive funds, to determine are they valid sources or are they scamsters. And if they're valid sources, then the funds would be distributed to them in our program based on a single condition. They're going to be audited for a period of time by our BDO or Ernst & Young group. So we're going to know where those funds go, and if they have a corporate structure or whatever, we'll probably have somebody from our organization as a member of their board. We're going to know what's going on, and if it starts to go awry, we can cut it off. If it's good and keeps going, we can keep it going. Good example. One of the things we're looking to do is to help veterans coming right out of the service that would like to acquire a franchise. A Chick-fil-A is a good example. We would assist them with the financial backing and guidance to get that franchise. We would provide them with the funding to acquire that franchise. We would provide them with enough financial cover to cover them in business, and Chick-fil-A will tell you what it's going to take. Keep them in business for 2, maybe 3 years, audit them for the 2 to 3 years, and at the point in time that we see that they're doing what they ought to be doing and they're making money, we cut them loose. No more audits, because they're doing what they're supposed to be doing. We've done what we were supposed to be doing, pardon me, in putting people to work and creating jobs. So that's what your team's all about. Your team can help you with all of that. They'll take a lot of this decision-making process that is beyond a lot of our individual expertise. They have that expertise. They're experts in setting up beneficial trusts that need to go into perpetuity. I don't have that knowledge. I know it can be done, but I'm going to put that on somebody that can do it, and then I'm going to monitor them in how they do it.
Perfect.
Very good. Thank you, guys. Appreciate it.
Thank you. Have a good day. Okay. Well, Mr. Martin, I'm so very glad that you joined us today. Your input, as always, is very much appreciated and also very, very useful. I know Jim and I are both looking forward to the conference call on the 21st, and we'll see where that takes us. So
keep everybody posted. Thank you.
Thank you. And Jim, you have anything to say before we go?
Well, no, I think we had a great call today. Jim, you did an excellent job. I'll send you the $5 that I told you I'd give you for this. And, so we're going to go ahead and sign off. I'm going to give you my information. I am presently still, unfortunately, in Salem, Oregon. So my number here is 503-583-6791. I will be moving to Florida by the end of the month. That's the plan. And you can get hold of me through security@indicatorinformation.com. I work from 9 in the morning to 6 in the evening. Actually, that's my hours that I publish. I'm usually up by 6 and usually working until midnight lately. But don't call me after 6. And, Carol, I think that's all I need to say.
All right. Thanks, Jim. And thanks to all of you, again, for your time and attention. If you weren't here, there would be no reason for us to have these calls. And I think everybody, including Jim and I, get a lot out of them. So we do appreciate your attention. My name is Carol Werelius. My number is 877-333-5018. I am available between 10 and 6 Eastern Time, and I do try to keep regular hours as well, although 6 o'clock on the West Coast sounds early, it's 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Vice versa, 9 a.m. Eastern Time is also 6 a.m. Pacific Time. So please keep time zones in mind. The best way to reach me is also by email, info@indicatorinformation.com. Have a happy and safe weekend, everybody, and go RV. Thanks for joining us. Bye-bye.